So I think one of the biggest challenges that we see that the sort of the media, I mean, and I hate to invoke the media, but that gets played out in research is that we as millennials have started sort of behind other generations, especially our parents, the boomers, and are not sort of catching up in a way that if you look at the graph line of, like this is how the boomers earned, and it goes, up at one angle, the millennials are, like sort of trickling along down here somewhere, that the amount of money that the boomers had by the time they were 30, or sort of the amount of earning potential they had by the time they were like 30 or 35, is much greater than what we're seeing. And part of that, I think, is we're in a gig economy. So to get a raise, a millennial often has to move to a different job. I keep bouncing around the country because everywhere I go, they pay me slightly more. Whereas I know that my parents, it was you got a raise for doing good things. You got a raise for staying with the company. Similarly, I have, what little retirement money I can scrape together, I have in 3 or 4 different retirement funds, sort of trailing me through those jobs where, my mother was a teacher, has a pension, which is something that I will never see. So there are things like that I think the millennials sort of know of, like this like mystical retirement fund and these like mystical things called pensions, but we also sort of know that like that's not how our world is working these days. And I think so because we see how it was and we see sort of what we're in, we understand that we're stuck in a really tight spot. And that I know a lot of millennials do give as much money as they can to charity and so forth, but a lot of us are also like, I'm sorry, I need to eat. Like I'll give what I can, but there's not much for us to give beyond.